Good morning, beloveds. Gabby may have some comments. We will see. It's November 11th, which is Veterans Day, which is always an interesting day for me, because it's hard for me to say Happy Veterans Day, for a number of reasons. One of them being, okay, there's a number of different days. Veterans Day is the day that we celebrate the men and women who served and came home, making it different from Memorial Day, which is for the ones who served and did not come home. And then there's another day, and I forget what the third one is. Oh, there's another day. Oh, and I do not remember the name of it. Armed Forces Day, which is to honor the people who are still in the military right now. And I see a lot of things that say Happy Veterans Day, and I'm just like, most of the veterans that I know are glad that they served. You know, it was an honor for them to serve. But it was also a situation of what they had to do, what they were asked to do, and what they've seen, and the fact that it's one day, and that's not enough. It's not enough. We need to overhaul the Veterans Administration. We need to overhaul the veterans hospitals. You know, we really need to do better for these people. We need to be more aware of their mental health. We need to do, there's a whole lot about being a veteran. And I say this not because I've served, and I have not, because I grew up in the military. My father served in Vietnam. My husband served in the Desert Storm. And both of my grandfathers were in the military, and I think they may have served in, possibly World War II and the Korean War. So, and I've seen the toll that takes on families, especially for conflict veterans. So I don't know. That's why I don't say Happy Veterans Day. I do acknowledge Veterans Day, but I don't say Happy Veterans Day. It is definitely a day to remember, hey, you know what? These people have gone out and they have done things, and they have suffered for it, and we need to do better as a country, because they did these things at our request. All right, I'll get off that soapbox. But that's my thought on Veterans Day. So if you have served in the military and you are watching this, thank you for your service. And I firmly believe and pray that we as a country do better for you. All right. It is November 11th. The law of right action is operating in my life now is our title. Our quote is, "For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up thy face unto God." And that is Job 22, and that is line 21 and 26. Right action means that every legitimate and constructive purpose I have in mind shall be successfully executed. It means that I shall know what to do, how to think, how to act, how to proceed. I definitely declare that since my word is in accord with the divine nature, it actually is the law of God in my experience enforcing itself. Hence, there is nothing in me or around me that can limit this word. The power of this law is with me, and the action which results from this power produces harmony, peace, joy, and success. Recognizing that there is but one power, one presence, and one life, I so unite myself with this life that all things become possible to me through faith. Humbly, reverently, but with complete conviction, I accept the gift of heaven, that life, which is complete and perfect, here and now. I know that in this consciousness of reality is the supply for me, for my every need, physical, mental, or spiritual, and I accept that supply in deepest gratitude. I am thankful that this is the way life fulfills my needs through the doorway of my inner self, and I am thankful that I know how to use this perfect law. I come to this great fountain of supply in the very center of my being to absorb that for which I have need, mentally and physically, and I am filled with a sense of reality of that which I desire. As I am filled with reality, I permit it to flow into my world of thought and action, knowing that it brings peace and harmony and order all around me. There rises within me limitless faith in the unconquerable presence, the perfect law, and the divine action. This one is a densely packed one. One of the things, there were a couple of lines in here that really jumped out at me. And one of the things that in the line, as I am filled with reality, I permit it, that's capital, it, spirit, to flow into my world of thoughts and actions. Because we're the only ones that can get in our own way. Nobody can get between us and God, but we can create an illusion of the separation between us and God. So the point of spiritual practice is to go to that place that nothing has ever been wrong, and to fill up with that reality, and to become the channel for that reality, that place where nothing has ever been wrong, to flow out into this world, to create that island around us of that greater reality, that heaven on earth. And as we create the island around us, it touches and bumps up against other people, and they kind of go, oh, and then it allows them to create their own island, and eventually we'll all bump up against each other and have these we'll have a continent of peace and harmony and what have you, as our islands connect. But we create the island so people can step into our aura of calm and rest for a minute and right themselves for a minute, so that they, when they're standing in our peace, they can find their own. They can find their own. We're not going to give them peace. What we're going to do is give them a minute, a moment to right themselves, center themselves in peace, and then they can carry their own. It's like, I don't have to heal you, but my responsibility is to provide a safe harbor where you can heal yourself by being healed myself. That's my work to do. My work is to make sure that I am a safe harbor, that I am a calm and peaceful place where you can come and rest for a moment, ground and center yourself, and find your own peace and your own healing. That's how healing works. It's like, I don't heal you, but what I do is I give you a moment of peace that you can do it yourself. And I can help remind you that you can do it yourself. That's the other thing. Now, the other one, I come to this great fountain of supply at the very center of my being to absorb that for which I have need, mentally and physically. So, at the center of my being, there is a supply. And that's what we talk about, that place that nothing has ever been wrong. And everything that I need is there in that fountain within myself, mentally and physically. And it means that when I go there and I find that I come into that alignment of peace and harmony, then the things that I need in the material world will come to me more easily because I will recognize the opportunities. I will recognize the steps that I need to take to get what it is that I am after.
Yes.
To get what it is that I need and I desire in this world. I don't sit back and wait for the world to come to me. I wait. I accept the guidance to go forth and get it. Because what God can do anything for me that God can do through me. So that's kind of that's what we're going for there is to come into alignment where we recognize the opportunities when they are presented to us. All right. So the law of right action is operating in my life now. It is always operating. It is always operating. It is up to us to learn the rules, to learn the law, and to use it the most appropriately, to use it the most effectively, to use it and that's why he talks about right action. That's why he talks about right action. And then the Job law, the 2 lines from Job: for then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and thou shalt lift up thy face unto God. It's know who you are. Know who you are. If you know who you are, you will know what you are capable of. And the 2 things, when I say know who you are, the 2 things that I'm always going to follow that up with is you are a beloved child of God. All right. That is one of the things that you are. The other thing, who you are, is you are a divine spark. You carry the divine within you. You are made of divine stuff, and you are made of divine stuff by the divine for the purpose of the divine. And sometimes we get a little weird about being the purpose of the divine. Fate. No, it's not about fate. Jesse used to call a young quote about fate. And it basically boils down to, if we don't understand how the law is operating in our lives, then we will continue to use it unconsciously and then accept what happens around us as fate. And we don't have to do that. Once we understand how the law operates, then we can start to use the law instead of it using us. Instead of it using us. So know who you are. And when you know who you are, you'll know what you're capable of, which is far more than you think you are right now. So right action means that every legitimate and constructive purpose I have, legitimate and constructive purpose, meaning it harms none and it benefits absolutely as many people as possible. Although I will be honest with you, if it only benefits one person, that is okay. That is absolutely acceptable as long as it harms none. As long as it harms none. And so for all you mamas out there, if it benefits your child and harms you, that's not okay. That's not okay. Okay? If it benefits your child and doesn't hurt you, that is okay. All right? Okay. So the right action means that every legitimate and constructive purpose I have in mind shall be successfully executed. It means that I shall know what to do, how to think, how to act, how to proceed. It means that when we become that divine channel, that Spirit will absolutely give us all of the guidance we need to do what it is. We will recognize the opportunities that when we see them. The right words will pop out of our mouth when they need to be heard. Even if sometimes we are simply talking to ourselves, because there are times that I do these and I hear things come out of my mouth and I was like, oh, that was a direct message directly to me. If you benefited from it, great, that's good. But sometimes it's like, I needed to hear that. Actually, a lot of the times I needed to hear that. I definitely declare that since my word is in accord with the divine nature, it actually is the law of God in my experience enforcing itself. If I am in alignment with God, with the qualities of God, peace, joy, love, harmony, love being a big one, then my word is law. My word is law because I am using the law. I didn't create the law. I am making the most effective use of the law. The power of this law is within me, and the action which results from this power produces harmony, peace, joy, and success. So the power of the law is ingrained in us. It is important for us to know who we are and to know that we have the right to use it and to use it well and effectively. Recognizing that there is but one power, one presence, and one life, I so unite myself with this life that all things become possible to me through faith. Humbly, reverently, but with complete conviction, I accept the gift of heaven, that life which is complete and perfect here and now. That life which is complete and perfect. So, I am not accepting it with arrogance. I am accepting it humbly and reverently. But I know that the gift of heaven is mine. Just as it is everybody else's. And that's part of accepting it humbly. It's like, I know that the gift of heaven is mine. But so too do I know this about myself, that I know that the gift of heaven is for every other living being. You will never look in the eyes of someone that God does not love. So I am accepting the gift of heaven as mine, but I also know that the gift of heaven belongs to absolutely everybody else. And I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. Like, it just makes me want to explode with joy to know that no one is left out of heaven. No one is left out of heaven. God accepts us all. Whether we choose to step into heaven, that's on us. I know that this consciousness of reality is the supply for my every need, physical, mental, or spiritual. And I accept that supply in deepest gratitude, which is the best way to do it. When you're grateful for the little things, then everything's it's easy to be grateful for the big things. When we're grateful for the little things, everything is a big thing. I'm thankful that this is the way life fulfills my needs, through the doorway of my inner self. The doorway of my inner self, meaning I go there, I become a channel, and then I am guided to everything that I could possibly want or need. And I am thankful that I know how to use this perfect law. I come to this great fountain of supply at the very center of my being to absorb that for which I have need, mentally and physically, and I am filled with the sense of reality of that which I desire. We got to see it before we can have it. We got to know that it exists and then follow the steps to get there. And sometimes when we don't see clearly, that's the benefit of other people. That's when you go to another person and say, hey, this is what I want. I'm having a little trouble seeing it clearly. Help me see. Help me see. Know for me. Know for me. Hold the space for me until I can hold it myself. That's the benefit of practitioners. And when I say practitioners, yes, I do mean the licensed practitioners at the center, but I also mean people that know you and love you and know this teaching, even if they don't use the same words that we do. As I am filled with the reality, I permit it, capital I, to flow into my world of thought and action, knowing that it brings peace and harmony and order all around me. I am a divine channel for spirit. You are a divine channel for spirit. And you are a divine channel for yourself and for everyone that you encounter. Everyone that you encounter. Because they see in you the possibility. When you are your authentic self, you give other people permission to be their authentic self. There arises within me limitless faith in the unconquerable presence, the perfect law, and the divine action. All right, beloveds. So I'm sure that you just heard the mission. The mission, should we choose to accept it, is literally to become our own doorway. It's literally to become our own doorway. It's to permit Spirit to flow into our world of thought and action through us. And we get there by our regular spiritual practice, by knowing who we are, by practicing who we are, and by practicing the alignment, by practicing all of the qualities of God, the peace, the harmony, the joy, the love, the creativity, the beauty, by accepting our divine inheritance, by accepting our gift of the kingdom of heaven, by accepting our heaven, by accepting heaven all around us, by looking for heaven all around us and finding it. That's the mission. All right, beloveds. I'm also going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. Today, my alarm went off. I heard the rolling thunder. I turned my alarm off and went back to bed. That was my loving, kind, and compassionate thing for myself. I got an extra hour because I couldn't get out into that weather anyway. So, I was like, well, I could get up and sit on my couch, or I could take a nap. So I took a nap. Tacked on an extra hour. That was my loving, kind, and compassionate thing for myself today. And every day it can be the same thing, or it can be different. Or one day you might hit on something and do it for a week and then you're done. So it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you do that loving, kind, and compassionate thing for yourself, because you deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion, because you are a beloved child of God. And I want it to become a default habit for you. I want it to become a permanent habit for you. I want it to become your first response to yourself. And it means that when you encounter other people who have forgotten who they are, it can also be your first response. You can share that bank of love, kindness, and compassion that you've built up by practicing on yourself. All right, beloveds. I also encourage you to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like, which I did not do today, so we'll see how the day goes, especially since I went to the gym today and I've got a group of muscles that are really done with me today. So, but I feel good. I'll figure it out. I do, and the sun hasn't come out yet, so I haven't gotten the early morning sun, but I'll get a little sun, just a little bit, 5-10 minutes. That's all I'm asking. And drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. And whatever else you do, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven now. It is all around you. Simply do as Emma requests of us, or demands of us. It's Emma. Look for the good and praise it. Look for the good and praise it, because the more you look, the more you see, the more there is. And that's how we create heaven on earth. All right? All right, beloveds. It is Thursday. There is a prayer circle tonight that is run by a couple of practitioners. It's done by Telebridge, which is a phone conferencing app. If you're interested in that, I think it happens at 7 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to email info@creativelife.org to get that information. Get on that weekly email so that you know what's going on even when I don't. And then take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to make it a great day, an amazing day, a wonderful day, an enchanting day, a loving day, an amazing day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right? But know that you are loved. Always. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. And if you need us in between, check us on all the social medias. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I am the Running Rev Ryan on 3 of those platforms. So you can check out all my stuff too, because these are archived on the Running Rev. So if you ever want to go back and see what I had to say, including if you want to see what I said last Veterans Day, because I don't know, because I kind of want to go look it up and see. Now, but know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.